Again, this is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, and this is a Common Lawyer Comments. And I want to comment briefly today on the subject that is so well known, has been for many years, for about the last 125 years here in America. It's been a popular subject, and that's called the rapture. Rapture. Is there such a thing? Is there going to be a rapture? Well, a lot of people say there is. It's the popular point of view there will be a rapture. What is a rapture? Well, that's an important word too. Rapture. It's the same root word, the same Latin root. It's a Latin word. The same root as rape. Rape. R-A-P-E. We've changed the meaning a little bit. Rape to us means to force another person to engage in a sexual act. Women can rape men just like men can rape women as a matter of our common law. Either one, of course, against the law. But rape in the Latin tongue has a different connotation than it does in our popular English tongue. We've hijacked the word and changed it. What rape means is to be forcibly lifted up and taken away. Lifted up and taken away. As our common law would put it, it uses the word asportation. It's a nice big word. No, don't worry about that. But the idea is to be lifted up and taken away. The Sabine women, this is part of Roman literature. The Sabine women, or the Sabine women, or the Sabine women, S-A-B-I-N-E, the Romans raped those women. A well-known story of those that read Roman literature. They raped them. Well, what does that mean? That means they come swooping in on horses, snatched them up on their horses with them, and rode away. That's called rape. To them, that was called rape. To elope with a woman would have been called rape. Rape. Same root as rapture. When you think about being in a rapturous state, you think about being lifted up and away in your mind. Oh, I was in rapture, people say. That means you're taken up in your mind. It was a feeling of rapture, an uplifting, see? The idea of grabbing the girl, riding in, blowing in, grabbing the girl by the arm or under the arm and swinging her up on your horse, and or stopping, getting off and throwing her up on your horse and then getting on, whatever. That's rape. And that's the meaning of the word. That's the sense of the meaning of the word when we talk about the rapture of God's people. It means to be taken up and away. Now, you know that, but I wanted to get down to what the word means so you can connect the word with what's really happening here. To be taken up and taken away. Well, let's read the passage. See, 2 Thessalonians chapter 4. Yeah, here it is. Start with verse 13. I'm reading from, this one's the New American Standard Version, and it's 4:14. Start with 13. But we do not want you to be uninformed, brethren, about those who are asleep, that you may not grieve as do the rest who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again from the dead, of course, even so God will bring with him those who have fallen asleep in Jesus. Fallen asleep with Jesus is another way to translate that preposition. In other words, he died and we die too. Same thing. Verse 15, for this we say to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not precede those who have fallen asleep. Now, the translation of the word fallen asleep is a euphemism. Euphemism. EU in the Greek text, epsilon, upsilon, is a prefix to a word that means good or well. Good or well. And those who have fallen asleep is a euphemism. That means a nice, a good, or a well, a way of saying dead. He doesn't say dead. Why? Well, he's just too much of a smooth talker for that. You know, we say that today. We say, well, we don't say, where's the dead man? Where's the dead body? You don't walk into a funeral home, somebody's there laying in state or laying in waiting or in wake. You don't walk in and ask the family, where's the dead body? Well, it's not a euphemism. That's not a nice way to say it. You walk in and say, where is the dearly departed? Where can I view the coffin? You don't say, where can I view the corpse? Where can I view the dead body? You don't say that. Why? Because it's impolite. So you use a euphemism, a nice way of saying something that is otherwise harsh. So Paul the Apostle doesn't say them who are dead. He says them who have fallen asleep. Why does he say fallen asleep? Well, he's stressing the idea that these bodies will rise in life. They will enliven, to make it simple. Verse 16, they shall remain, they've fallen asleep, for the Lord himself will descend, that means come down, from heaven, that means the skies, he'll be coming down from the skies, with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel. Or which one? He doesn't say. Some archangel. With the voice of, should read an archangel, because it doesn't say the, an archangel, and with the trumpet of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. The dead in Christ, or the dead with Christ, because he died, they died too, with Christ, shall rise first in the resurrection of their bodies, no matter how decayed or how many molecules have been scattered, whether they've been buried at sea or ground up in a hammer mill. All those molecules God will bring together and they will be raised from the dead. Isn't it funny? Say that to a cynic, non-Christian, they'll say, you're stupid enough to believe that Jesus Christ raised himself from the dead. Dead bodies will raise from the dead. Well, what's the answer to that? Well, that's better than being stupid enough to believe that God brought life out of dead matter, or somebody did. It did it itself from goo to you by way of the zoo, and now we got men. If you believe that that can happen by the processes of chance, and that's what they believe, then why wouldn't you believe that a man could be raised from the dead by the processes of a chance, which would be even less remote than God could bring life out of dead matter? That's what you believe. Well, God says he's going to raise men from the dead. The evidence is clear, and it's good evidence that Jesus Christ did raise himself from the dead. He's going to do it again. All those that are asleep, their dead bodies shall rise first. Verse 17, then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them. Who's them? Well, those other dead bodies that were raised from the dead. They're caught up. Exportation, rape, rapture. They're lifted up and away, see, to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore, comfort one another with these words. We're supposed to read them. What is it? Comforting. It imparts calm, fortes, strength. It imparts strength, comfort. Well, it doesn't tell us everything. It just says we'll be caught up with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Now, does it say what will happen after that? No, he didn't say. Does it say then we'll go on up into the skies, caught up into the third heaven? No, it doesn't say. Does it say that we'll come down to earth? No, it doesn't say. So why is it that people believe that if you get raptured up like that, you're just going to go on up with Jesus Christ to the third heaven or some heaven someplace? Well, there's no reason to believe that. And any argument that says that is called an argument from silence. Well, it doesn't say, so it has to mean this. Well, that's not good hermeneutics. In fact, it appears clear to me, and I'm in good company because people have been saying this for centuries, that this verse 17 is a picture of what happens when conquering armies from Rome would come back to Rome. Caesar conquered Gaul. Gaul is divided into three parts. That's the way he begins his treatise, his report about how he conquered, which is Gaul, modern-day France. Well, after he did that, he came home. He marched his boys back home, the Roman legions. They were victorious. Then when he gets about 20 miles from Rome, he'd send runners ahead, 2 or 3 in case one fagged out or passed out or died. He sent runners ahead to bring the message that the legions were victorious. So make preparations. Gather up your ticker tape. We're going to have a ticker tape parade. Now, they didn't have ticker tape, but it's like a ticker tape parade like we used to have in New York City when the boys came back from World War I, Desert Storm. All those things happened. They had parades. Well, that's what is happening here. Jesus Christ is getting ready to have a parade. So when the runners went out, they told the city of Rome, make preparations, get all ready. And then the Roman legions, the army, would camp outside of town a mile or two, bivouac out there to give them time to make preparations. And when the time came, those folk in the city that wanted to celebrate, they went out and met the Roman legions coming in, singing, playing their timbrels, dancing. The boys come home victorious. And everything about this verse matches what we read from ancient literature about that victory parade that comes back into the city of Rome. And this seems to be the picture that Paul the Apostle is painting. And if that's the case, as I believe it is, then Jesus Christ, when he comes in the clouds, those who are his people will be caught up together with him, and he will lead, as it says later in the Bible, he will lead captivity captive. Well, that's a phrase from the Roman legions coming into town with their captives. And Jesus Christ will lead his captives, his enemies, in chains with him. And those of us that are caught up in the air, we will come back in the celebration of victory with him. Where? To land. Remember, all of God's creation is divided into two parts: the heavens and the earth, the sky and the land. And the theme of those two is threaded throughout the whole warp and woof, the text, the context of the Bible. This is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com.